Hey guys, my name is Jenna. You are watching Workspacery TV, and this week I'm so excited because we are diving into all the different ways you can use your planner for 2019. So first of all, hello and welcome to the new year. This is the first official video for 2019 for Workspacery TV, and I'm just so excited because I have so many fun things planned for you guys this year. Workspacery is ever evolving into more fun planning and organizational products and resources and all kinds of things for you guys. So stay tuned because it's going to be a very exciting year. Now, I'm so excited for today's video because we're going to be diving into how to use your planner. I know a lot of you have picked up a planner, whether it's from my shop or elsewhere for the 2019 year with all kinds of positive intentions. You want to get the most out of it. You want to use it to the max, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, if you are familiar, I do sell what's called the Refresh Weekly Planner in my shop. It's a weekly planner that includes a monthly layout and goal planning pages and lined pages in the back and all kinds of fun features. But for this video specifically, I'm just focusing on all planners, how to get the most out of your planner. So while I'm going to be referencing my Refresh Weekly Planner or a sample of one, these tips and ideas can really apply to just about any planner that you're using, so long as there are some standard layouts involved, like weekly, monthly layouts that you can reference. The fact is, planning is very personal. Planners are very personal. Everyone uses theirs in a slightly different way. Everyone looks for something very different in their planners, and it's just really important that you find the right product for you. So while I, of course, love my own Refresh Weekly Planner, I totally understand if you have one that works best for you, but you're still not sure how to maximize it, I'm here to help. And I will just quickly mention that the Refresh Weekly Planner collection for 2019 is officially on sale at workspacery.com. So if you go over there, you can shop the remaining cover designs in our collection. We have just one design that's sold out and two beautiful, gorgeous options left. But the quantities are running low. As of today of recording this video, we have two left. So hopefully they're there when you go to check them out as well. And just be sure to use the checkout code ready for 2019 when you check out so you can take advantage of the special discount happening now. And truthfully, yes, it is January. We're moving into February soon, so now is the perfect time to pick up that planner and get started. Not only are you getting a great deal on it, but there's still so much mileage left. These planners take you through the end of the year, through December of 2019. So there's plenty of mileage left, and now is the perfect time to grab yours. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in to all the ways that you can use your planner and maximize it for 2019. To kick things off, I'm actually going to be using the Refresh Weekly Planner. As I mentioned, this is the diamond dot design. I don't know if you can see it there, if it'll focus in on the design. But I'm going to go over exactly how I use it first and then talk about all the other amazing ideas that I've heard other people do, plus just other ideas that I love for how to maximize your planner. This is especially useful if you have more than one planner this year. Let's say one was gifted to you, you bought two in the heat of the moment because you're so excited and now you have this spare planner. There are so many ways you can use it. Don't just put it to the side. Get some function out of that baby, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that today. So first, diving into how I use the Refresh Weekly Planner. So the Refresh Planner has both a monthly and a weekly layout that's standard since I started designing these because I like to keep the design minimal and flexible, right? So for the monthly layout, I use this differently than the weekly layout. I use the monthly for upcoming trips. I use it for any major events happening that month or major holidays. And then I also use it for my husband's work schedule. He does not have a very standard schedule. It's really all over the place. So I don't even put in like his hours or anything. I just add a little notation on the days when he is going to be working because usually that means I'm not going to see him like all day. Now I could show you here on camera. Instead, I'm going to overlay a photo so you guys can see in more detail exactly what I'm talking about. This is not my exact calendar for January, by the way. I wanted to, of course, keep that information private, but this is a very spot on example of how I use the planner. So you can see I also notate a couple of big goals for that month. I try not to go too crazy there. That spot is small for a reason because these are major goals that play into your big overall goals for the year for me. And then in the notes section, I often like to notate any birthdays happening that month of close friends and family members, just so I have those kind of off to the side and I don't miss those, because for me, it's really important to follow up on birthdays and make sure I'm not missing anyone. Okay, now I'm gonna hop over to the weekly planner here. And again, I did a layout that is identical to how I use it, but not with my specific schedule and information, so you can get a very, very good idea on how I maximize this weekly layout. So the refresh planner actually is divided into 7 equal spaces for the days of the week, and then each day has both a task side and an appointment side, so you can list any meetings as well as any to-dos that you have for every day of the week. And then there's space for what you're taking action on. These are goal-oriented steps that you're focusing on that week and what you're grateful for. So there's a lot in this little layout. Even though it's minimally designed, it really packs a punch. Of course, in the what I'm taking action on this week, I usually notate, for me, 3 is the magic number. I like to write down 3 major goals or areas of focus that I'm working on that week. And then I always jot down something in the I'm grateful for section that usually for me comes about midweek when things are a little bit chaotic and crazy and I just need to take a moment and appreciate something or someone that made my week better. For the actual weekly layout, now I use my refresh planner pretty closely to how it was designed for, if that makes sense. So for the left side of each day, I do write in all of my appointments, meetings, anything that is scheduled into my week. And on the right side, I make a list of my to-dos for that day. Now you can see I also have a lot of color here. I don't use a lot of color in the monthly layout. I don't know why. It's just something I've always done. I've kept that scheduling system very minimal in color, but for the weekly layout, I do like to color coordinate because it is a little bit crazier to look at everything. So I currently use a highlighter, different color highlighters, to highlight whether tasks are work or personal related. And then I also really like to jot down my meal planning every day of the week, and I highlight that in a different color as well, just so that it stands out and has its own space. So every day of the week, you can see that I have my personal items highlighted in pink, and then my work tasks highlighted in a teal color, and then my meal planning tasks highlighted in this kind of periwinkle blue. Now, I'm also a doodler, so you'll see that I like to include little doodles here and there, especially on trips or fun occasions, birthdays, etc. I always like to just go a little bit wild. And I also love using stickers. It just helps me highlight a few of the priority days or things like really special days where I need to be thinking about a lot. Slash, it just makes it a more fun experience when you can dress up your planner and your layout by adding stickers and fun colors. Okay, so that is a really brief overview on how I use the Refresh Weekly Planner, the monthly and the weekly layouts. Specifically, I have a content planner that is also in the shop if you've seen it, and I use that just for content planning. I used to do my content planning in my Refresh planner, but I've learned that personally I like to keep that portion of my planning process separate because it is a more involved process for me, and I could literally take over the Refresh planner just with content planning. So I use that planner separately from my life and work planning. The main idea is that I like to use the monthly layout for bigger picture things, events and trips and my husband's schedule. These are the big picture things. I can glance at my calendar and see if I have anything big coming up. Am I going to be out of town? Am I committed to a major event? And is my husband here? Like, those are the 3 questions that I need to know. And then for the weekly layout, I go way more into detail on everything from laundry and meal planning to events and appointments and random to-dos I have that day for my work. So you can see the difference in the high level versus the more detailed planning that I choose to do in the Refresh Planner. So now I want to share with you guys so many other ideas and ways that you can use your planner. Like I said, you might have a second planner, or maybe it's just that you plan digitally, like your life and your meetings and everything. You like to keep those in your Google Calendar, on your phone, whatever you want to do. And you want to use your paper planner, but not specifically for all those nitty-gritty details about meetings and to-dos for the day. I totally get that. There are so many different ways you can use a planner, and I'm here to share exactly what those are. And let me just say that, you know, like I said, planning is a very personal process. So you might find some combination of everything I'm talking about today to be the right solution for you. There is no right or wrong. It may take some experimentation, and that's okay too. But the biggest thing is to think about your life, your priorities. What are you focusing on this year? How you're using your planning tools and organizing your life this year might be entirely different from what you did last year. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in finally. So I actually have these written down in front of me. So if you see me glance down, that is why, because I have so many ideas on how you can maximize these that I literally wanted to run out and buy like 5 more planners. So if you see me glancing down, I am checking out my massive list of all these ideas for you guys. So for monthly, personally, I like to think of, like I said before, bigger picture things. And this applies no matter what kind of planning you're doing, really. A really, really common way that people like to use the monthly, from what I've heard them tell me about, especially with the Refresh Planner, is content planning. It's such a nice minimal layout, and you can plan your social media and blog content very easily in that space. The boxes are big enough for you to be able to do that. Maybe color coordinating the different social media channels versus your blog and keeping everything organized that way. So content planning is a huge way that people love to use a monthly layout. A fitness tracker or a workout planner or a gym planner, however you want to call it, using the monthly layout to track your workouts, what you're doing, how long you're doing it for, when you're going, or if you're working out at home, whatever you're doing, using that monthly layout to specifically track your fitness journey is a really good use of that space. If you have something big coming up this year, like a wedding. So we have a wedding planner in the shop actually called Wed Love. If you haven't seen it, it's a very detailed, beautiful planner. It's a customer favorite. But if you already have a spare planner, or you're just looking to use something a little more minimal and not quite so detailed, using a standard yearly, monthly planner with some kind of monthly layout is a great solution. You can track the major milestones along the way. Wedding planning is generally kind of a lengthy process depending on the length of your engagement, of course, but it just gives you all the space you need to track all of those major milestones, check things off your list, and feel like you're making progress every month of your engagement. Pregnancy and baby milestones. So just similar to wedding planning, this is a lengthy process and a lengthy adventure. I don't even want to use the word process because it's such a beautiful adventure, but tracking your pregnancy milestones, your baby milestones, and everything in between there. There's so much to know when you go through that journey. And as your little one grows up, you don't want to lose track of anything. So having a planner dedicated to tracking all of that, something that you can look back on going forward, that you can tape photos in and make notes of and everything else, like that's a really great way to use your planner. If you tend to have several launches throughout the year, a planner is a great resource for that, using it as a launch planner. Whether you have one major launch or a launch every single month, using the monthly layout to track those milestones leading you up to the launch is a really great use of that space. I even had this really fun idea that I kind of want to try myself, called the Best Version of You Planner. This is totally made up. It's not a real thing. But the idea is that you can highlight, maybe 3 to 5 things you want to work on that year. You want to read more, you want to volunteer more, whatever those things are. You want to declutter your house. You can dedicate your planner to that best version of you. And just really take notes and track all of those things along the way. Like, what books am I reading that month? Where am I volunteering this month? What room am I focusing on decluttering this month? So I thought that would be a really fun way to use a planner. If you're not using it for your daily personal and work life, you can use it for bigger picture things that you're working on in your life. Okay, so those are kind of big picture things, longer term things. That's, I think, key when thinking about the monthly planner, thinking about the longer term things that you're working on to better your life, big changes happening, moves, babies, weddings, all the big exciting things that happen in our lives. When thinking about the weekly planner, I like to get a little more nitty gritty, a little more detailed with how I use it, because there is generally, in most planners, like in the Refresh Planner, there's more space to expand a little bit and get more into those details. So first of all, if you work for yourself, or even if you don't, if you have any kind of client or project work, using the weekly planner to track those hours is such a good use of that space. So for instance, when I worked at the agency when I lived in Kansas City, and I loved working as a graphic designer there. But one thing I just didn't love to do for some reason was enter my time after every single project on the computer. So instead, I made a habit of writing down my time per project, per client, and then at the end of the day, I would enter it all at once, just because logging into the system every time for me felt like an extra step I didn't want to take. So something as simple as moving that process to paper, something that can be out all the time, is a really good use of that weekly planning space. Using it as a food journal. If you are into tracking, what you're eating, if you're on some kind of special plan, or you're just trying to hold yourself accountable or with others, whatever it may be, using that weekly planning space as a food journal, a place to jot all of that information down, is a really great use of it as well, because it gives you ample space to make that happen. I love the idea of using your weekly planner space as a budget tracker. I am someone who likes to track all the things all the time. And especially when it comes to money, I just like to be very aware of where I'm at, where I'm spending, where I'm bringing money in. So using it as a budget tracker, and maybe at the same time, a sales tracker. So basically just a money tracker, period, tracking what comes in, what goes out, so that you're very aware of your money situation, staying on top of it. And it just, honestly, I feel like bringing more awareness also makes you feel more confident in the decisions you're making about your money. So this is an easy way, instead of logging in and out of your financial accounts online every day, you can keep it written down so you have it on hand, and it's also right there top of mind. You can also take that content planning from the monthly planner and break it down even more into the weekly planner. So if you want to use a standard planner that includes a monthly and weekly layout as your content planner, using that weekly layout to break down your daily posts, everything that you're planning on talking about, different promotions coming up, events you want to talk about, using that space to map that out on a more detailed level is a great way to use the weekly planner space as well. And then finally, I love the idea of using a planner. Now this applies to both the monthly and the weekly layout, but I love the idea of using a separate planner specifically for organizations that you're involved in. So maybe you're heavily involved in one organization where you spend a lot of your time and volunteer a lot of your effort, or maybe you're involved in several different organizations. But basically having a separate planner for all of those meetings, when you get put on committees and you have all these responsibilities and meetings and deadlines to uphold, it's nice to have a separate place to house all of that information so you're not missing anything. That way, when you run off to a meeting, you just have to grab that planner. Just grab this one piece that holds everything so that you're not missing out on anything. But anyway, I just love the idea of using a separate planner for very high priority parts of your life. I keep reaching over here because my planner is still sitting here, the diamond planner that I was referencing earlier. But using a separate planner for those different high priority areas of your life is such a great strategy to help keep things mentally separated and give yourself some breathing room so your main planner or planning system does not get overwhelmed by all the things. So that is it, you guys. That is my massive list of all the fun ways you can use your planner for 2019. Whether you're using the Refresh Weekly Planner like I have here, or a planner you picked up in Target, or a different planner that you love, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you make it work best for you and your lifestyle, and that's going to look different for everyone. Before you head out, just 2 things. Don't forget to subscribe below if you love this video. I will be putting out more and more organization and planning videos. If you love that kind of content, let me know, or if there's something else you're wanting to see in the workspace, home office, planning, organization realm, let me know that as well. And of course, I'd love for you to share this video with friends if you think someone in your life would also find it useful. And then do not forget that the Refresh Weekly Planners are officially on sale at workspacery.com. Use the checkout code READY for 2019 to take advantage of that sweet, sweet deal. I hope you guys have an incredible week and a productive day. I hope you have so much fun setting up your planners for success this year. It's going to be a great one, and I can't wait to follow along with you as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.